Hello everyone, and welcome to Marvel Movie Breakdown here on Marvel Movie Fan. In this video we'll cover the multiverse that makes up the Marvel film realities. Before we start, I would like to let you know that if you want, you can go to the menu by clicking on the Marvel Movie Fan icon. There you can choose the universe you want to know about. Well, let's get started. There are many realities that make up Marvel's multiverse. That is to say, until recently there were many realities to make up the Marvel multiverse. In Marvel Comics, there was an event that greatly minimized the amount of realities in the Marvel multiverse. So what is a multiverse? To simply put it, a group of different realities. For example, most of us know who Spider-Man is. In the Earth 616 reality, he is a human named Peter Parker who was bitten by a radioactive spider that gave him spider-like powers. In the Earth 8311 reality, this same character is named Peter Porker. Peter was a spider that was bitten by a radioactive humanoid pig which turned him into a humanoid pig while still maintaining his spider abilities. So, some realities have drastic changes like this, while others have very minor changes like a choice that the character made. Our reality is designated Earth 1218. If you see TRN, it stands for Temporary Reality Number, meaning Marvel has not given that reality an official designation. Well, let's go ahead and start with the single standalone movies. These movies have just one movie in their own reality. Please keep in mind that there will be future videos explaining these movies in more detail. Someday. We will start with Captain America 1944. This is a 12-part black and white serial made by Republic. This universe is labeled Earth 600001. In this universe, Captain America is a district attorney named Grant Gardner. Other than the superhero name and the costume, there are no other ties to the comics. The next film is Howard the Duck. This movie was made by Lucasfilm in 1986. This movie is about a humanoid duck named Howard that comes from an unknown Earth known as Duck World, populated by humanoid ducks. Randomly from his living room armchair, he goes out of his apartment into space and arrives on Earth 58470. This version of Howard the Duck says a lot of duck puns and is quite different from the one that appeared in Guardians of the Galaxy. The Punisher is the last Marvel film of the 80s. This version of Frank Castle is portrayed by Dolph Lundgren and came out in 1989. This Frank Castle is an ex-police officer from Earth 58627. The general public believe that Frank Castle was killed by the mob along with his family, but he is really waging war against organized crime as the Punisher. The first Marvel movie from the 90s was Captain America 1990. This 21st Century Film Corporation film was the first official Captain America movie with Steve Rogers. It takes place on Earth 697064, and it follows the comics better than the first movie. This movie even includes the Red Skull. The first Fantastic Four movie came out in 1994. While this movie never officially came out, it was meant to be released in 1994, but it was pulled before it could come out. There are some speculations on why this film was never released, but the public does not know for sure. Bootleg copies are available and can easily be found today. This movie takes place on Earth 94000. Now we go on to the first Hulk film. This movie came out in 2003 and takes place on Earth 400083. In this universe, Bruce Banner's father, David Banner, experimented on himself, then passed on the traits to Bruce. In Bruce's adult life, he gets radiated with gamma rays and becomes the Hulk. The next film is the second Punisher movie. The Punisher 2004 takes place in Earth 58732. In this version, Frank Castle's entire family was killed at a family reunion by the crime boss Howard Saint. Saint killed Castle's family because his son was killed by the FBI. During that time, Castle was an undercover FBI agent. In 2005, Man-Thing came out as a superhero horror film. This film was different from the source material and takes place in Earth 58460. This was loosely based on Steve Gerber's storyline, The Man-Thing. This movie also made Man-Thing more antagonistic. The last movie on this list is Punisher Warzone. This film came out in 2008 and is in Earth TRN-011. This movie takes place 5 years after Frank Castle becomes the Punisher. This is not a sequel to the 2004 movie. Like other Punisher movies, his backstory remains the same. Now we're going to move on to the movies that either had sequels or were connected to other movies but will not produce any further movies in their own reality. The first reality on this list is Earth 26320. This is the reality that the Blade movies take place. The three movies came out in 1998, 2002, and 2004. The story starts with Blade's birth. His mother was bitten by a vampire before she brought him into the world. She shortly died afterwards. This incident caused him to become a human-vampire hybrid. After growing up, Blade becomes a vampire hunter to get revenge for them killing his mother. Each of these movies has its own plot. Next is the reality where Sam Raimi's Spider-Man takes place. This Spider-Man is played by Tobey Maguire. In this reality, Peter Parker is a nerd who was bitten by a genetically modified spider during his high school field trip. He gained the name Spider-Man while wrestling in the ring. He goes on to first face the villain known as the Green Goblin. The first movie was made in 2002. This was the first major feature film with Spider-Man and also became the first Spider-Man movie franchise. It takes place on Earth 96283. On Earth 701306, a blind superhero fights crime in New York as a vigilante known as Daredevil. Daredevil is played by Ben Affleck. During his childhood, Matt Murdock was blinded by toxic waste that spilled into his eyes while he was walking home from school. Even though he lost his sight, he gained enhanced senses and the ability to see using sonic vibrations. This version of Daredevil is on the list because of the 2005 spin-off movie Elektra that takes place in the same universe. Elektra made her first movie appearance in the Daredevil film and is played by Jennifer Gardner. In 2005, the Fantastic Four finally made it to the big screen. This was soon followed by the second movie titled Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. The sequel came out in 2007. This franchise takes place on Earth 121698. In this reality, Reed Richards, Johnny Storm, Susan Storm, Ben Grimm, and Victor Von Doom go out to outer space to get samples from cosmic energy clouds. While out in space, they become exposed to these clouds. When they return to Earth, their powers begin to develop. Doom's transformation happens later because he was best shielded against the radiation. While Reed, Johnny, Susan, and Ben use their powers for good, Victor does not. The next movie on this list is Ghost Rider. This movie came out in 2007. The sequel, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, came out in 2012. This story starts with Mephistopheles not getting his contract for 1,000 corrupt souls from Ghost Rider. Since Ghost Rider did not give him the contract, he turned to a young Johnny Blaze. He made a contract with Blaze to cure Blaze's father's cancer in exchange for Blaze's soul. After Blaze's father was cured, he was killed that same day. Later, Mephistopheles makes Blaze his new bounty hunter, known as the Ghost Rider. This takes place on Earth 121347. The last franchise in this section is the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. This franchise was planned to have more than 2 films, but since Sony Pictures made a deal with Marvel Studios, this franchise came to an immediate stop. The 2 movies take place on Earth 120703. In this reality, Peter Parker gains his powers by getting bit by a genetically modified spider that was created by his father. The spider powers can only be properly gained if the person bitten has Parker DNA. This version of Peter Parker is less of the classic nerd and more like an extremely intelligent high school student who does not stand out. This version of Spider-Man was played by Andrew Garfield. In this section, these movies are part of continuing franchises or possible franchises. These realities are still in existence. Currently, this section has 3 franchises and 4 or more realities. Since this section does get a little tricky, the simple reality will be first. The MCU, which is an acronym for Marvel Cinematic Universe, takes place in the Earth 199999 reality. This reality started with the Iron Man movie in 2008, then it expanded from there. Unlike the other realities in the movie multiverse, this reality is made up of different kinds of media, which currently contains 12 movies, 2 TV shows, 1 Netflix series, 5 one-shot films, and 37 comic book issues. This reality is known around the world for the Avengers movies and is the highest grossing franchise in the world. Next is the X-Men franchise, which contains 2 main realities. The original X-Men trilogy, X-Men Origins Wolverine, X-Men First Class, and the Wolverine take place on Earth 100005. Things began to change when X-Men Days of Future Past came out. The beginning of this film takes place in an unknown dystopian reality. The reason this reality is unknown is because there is no way to know how many times Kitty Pryde changed time by sending Bishop back into the past. All that is known is that the Earth 100005 reality is headed toward this dystopian future. When Kitty Pryde sent Wolverine's spine back in time, the moment he arrived in the past created the Earth TRN 414 reality. This new reality is where the future movies The Unknown Fox movie and Deadpool will take place. The last movie is a possible franchise with an unknown reality number. This is the new Fantastic Four movie. The writer and producer of the X-Men movies, Simon Kinberg, has stated that the Fantastic Four is in a parallel universe to the X-Men movies. This version of the Fantastic Four is darker than the previous Fantastic Four movies. Well, that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, then please click the like button, or you can hit the subscribe button, or you can do both. If you disliked this video, please let me know why you didn't in the comment section below. Positive comments are also welcome. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel. Bye!